Okay. Next is the approval of the agenda. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Baumgartner,
I move that we approve the agenda.
is there a second?
I second the motion.
Okay. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed, that passes 7-0. Next is the approval of the minutes of the January 12th meeting and the January 20th meeting. Let's break that apart because I believe, Ms. Baumgartner, you were out of town for one of those. So could I have a motion for the approval of the minutes for the January 12th meeting? Mr. Gant, is there a second?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I'd like to,
Go right ahead.
okay. I'd like to move that we approve the minutes of the January 12th, 2015 board meeting.
Ms. Hammond seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please raise your hands. And that passes 6 with 1 abstention. May I have a second motion for the January 20th? Mr. Gant?
Madam Chair, I'd like to move that we approve the January 20th, 2015 budget workshop meeting.
Ms. Baumgartner, you second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please raise your hands. All opposed, that passes 7-0. Next is the welcome and brief overview of Ballantyne Elementary by our principal, Robin Bright.
Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us tonight at Ballantyne Elementary School. We're very honored to have each of you here, and I would like to second our thanks to the board. I can't tell you how much we appreciate your many hours and hours that you put into this, and we know that your heart is truly in it for the students and the teachers and the staff members, and so I do extend my thanks on behalf of my staff as well. I want to share with you tonight briefly about a newest adventure for Ballantyne Elementary School. You may have heard of Lego Robotics Clubs, but it was new to us at Ballantyne this year. And it turned out to be quite an adventure, and I'm going to let our sponsors, Carol Setzer and Elizabeth Peterson, both fabulous fourth grade teachers, tell you a little bit about it, and as well as our students. But I do have to brag a little bit, because at their first competition, or I guess the main competition, they received an award, and I wasn't surprised, but I was quite honestly really humbled by the award that they received. They received an award for their core values, and to me, I was incredibly impressed by that, because I think you can teach programming and you can teach robotics, but it's a much more challenging thing to teach core values and to have a group of 4th and 5th graders come together and truly work as a team. So in my mind, that was the epitome of the award for that day. So I was incredibly proud of them, and I'm not going to talk much more. I want you to hear from them, but they did a fabulous job. So at this time, I'm going to pass it over to Ms. Setzer.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Carol Setzer. I teach 4th grade, and I just want to sort of pat Robin on the back as well. Last May, I approached her and I said, I went to this tournament and I didn't want to go. My daughter from Harbison West, she dragged me over there, and it was really cool. And I saw some things going on. Would you be open, to me being the coach for a Lego robotics team? And Robin is always open to new ideas and things that she thinks will promote student learning. And she was excited about it, and I was like, uh-oh, look what I've gotten myself into. However, I have this great friend that I teach with, Elizabeth Peterson, and you have to have 2 coaches. You can't just have one. And I approached her, and she said, sure, I'm in it with you. And so we sent out applications. And it being the first year, I knew nothing about it. I just knew that I was going to fall on my face, but it was okay. I've done that many times, reaching out there trying to do something different. And I always learn from my mistakes. And so we sent the applications out. We had 65 children, and we were only supposed to select from 10. So we fudged and did 15, put them in a bucket, pulled them out, and this is part of the group that we had. And I want to show you just a snippet up here, and then I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to have a bunch of 4th and 5th graders come here if they don't get to speak on this mic. So they're all going to have something briefly to say to you about our Lego robotics team. But if you can see this back there, it's 1 minute and 39 seconds, something like that. So. Aren't you impressed? Okay, and I'm going to ask them to come up, and they're going to be talking about one of 3 areas. You compete in the project, which is, you have to do like, ask the big question. It's more a scientific research type thing, and this year, the topic was very open. It was anything about learning, which sometimes the more open the topic is, sometimes it's more difficult. But they went with it, and they did a great job. And then you have the what they call the games. And the games are actually building the obstacles and the robot and doing all that sort of thing, which I know nothing about. And the last thing was the core values. And we set those the first day. And we live by those core values. We realized that every single person was important. So I'm just going to have them come and tell you just a quick, I told them 15 seconds, but you never know when you have a mic what you're going to get. And they're going to tell you just a little bit about what they got out of this Lego Robotics. And even though I still don't know that much about it because I gave it to them. And I feel like children will go so much further when adults keep their hands out of it. And so Ms. Peterson and I kept our hands out of it, and this is what they learned. Here you go. Come on.
I did the projects, and our project was about does fitness and exercise improve learning? And we found that it does, and we did a whole experiment with our school, seeing if teachers saw an improvement after doing it for this amount of time. And so that's a project.
I was working on the core values. We won the award on that with and the main thing that we said on the core values was we work together as one.
I enjoyed the most going to the competition because I thought it was exciting and fun.
The greatest moment was opening the box and seeing all the new creations and ideas that we could find.
I thought the funnest thing was when we had to build the robot because we had to make connections with the programming and building the robot with each other.
Well, this is the award we won for the core values. And well, we had to think of about, I think, 10 things that we think would help us learn together.
Well, I have to say that it was also fun for me when we opened the boxes because I learned that we would be able to make so many different things with just those little pieces.
My favorite part was the building the obstacles because Carrington and I, we had there was a certain obstacle that was difficult to build and we had to rebuild it 3 times and I liked the challenge.
I'm going to talk about how we got the award. This is our first year doing it, so we didn't know what was going on, our coaches and our players back here. So how we won the award was each week, I think each week we learned different things about how we could build the robot and what things it could do.
Just like Carrington said, I think we succeeded more than we thought we did because this was our first year.
At the competition, I was the one who rechecked our programming, and I think that'll help us later on because then we know what we did wrong and we can fix it next time.
So this is the robot that we built, and so we make different programs on it. And so one program that we made, we have what you call a colors a color sensor. So when I turn on that program and it senses a color, and then like if I do my blue shirt, it recognizes that it's blue.
One day we tried to install an update, but it failed. So Ms. Setzer came up with the idea to call a Mindstorm tech guy, and he talked us through different things to help us reboot it, and it finally worked after we tried it with everything he said.
I will have to tell you, they updated it, and I was like, uh-oh, Robin's going to get on me now because I don't know if this is going to work. So I handed them my cell phone, and I said, you did it, you talked to them. And I walked away. And they talked to these tech guys at the Mindstorm, and they did everything they said, and I just was not going to get involved in that because I really didn't know that much about it. But they actually put the thing back together, and it was amazing. And when they were through, they said, wow, he talked to us like we were adults, like we knew what we were doing, and they did. And we have one last fellow right here.
When we started doing the thing, I thought it was going to be really easy to do, but it ended up being really hard to do, and I'm really glad I signed up.
I don't do public speaking well, so I apologize. I just wanted to thank Carol Setzer. Last May, when she was like, I have something I want you to be a part of. Don't worry, all good things, all good things. So when she comes and tells me this, I have a very hard time saying no. So I'm like, okay, sure. Thinking, oh, good goodness, I'm just going to stand there and like take minutes. And then she's like, no, we need to do this and this and this, and don't worry, it's going to be great, it's going to be great. She was a wonderful leader. We had an excellent group of students who worked very hard and did a lot of problem solving because when they asked us, we knew nothing. We knew, I still can't tell you how they make that thing work. But because they had each other's support, they had to problem solve themselves. And so therefore, they projected their own learning. So thank you, Carol Setzer, and thank you, Robin, for bringing us to this. And thank you, boys and girls. You did a great job.
I want to, I just wanted to thank each of the students, and I'm so glad each of you had the opportunity to speak to the board and to the audience so we could hear what you had to say, and we are so proud of you. Certainly, I agree that the award you won for the first time around is a true honor. I would also like the parents or family members of these young students to please stand up so we can recognize you. Thank you so much. We look forward to hearing more good news from you. We'll give you time to, I know you've got homework. Get ready for bed. Yes, Dr. Hefner, will you please give us the superintendent's report?